Right, just a quickie. We're back on the Shetland blackhawk, and what I've done, I've just filled the last little bit of the back of the transom where the outdrive leg was sticking out. What I did, I got some 1/4 inch ply and I mixed up for the first time some silica, and rather than that, bridging compound costs a lot of money, and someone told me I could fill the joints with this silica. And I'll show you what it is. It's basically, it's strange. It's like a powder. I won't cover the camera up. Right, yeah, it's like a real light sort of, like a, I don't know, it's like a honeycomb, like a meringue. It's very, very light, and yeah, it's like a dust, like a talcum powder, but a sort of crispy talcum powder. But what I did, I mixed up some resin in probably about ½ litre in a little tub, and put the hardener in as usual, and then I kept adding sort of like a handful to that silica until it went real stodgy, and it's like a wallpaper paste, but it goes, you know, real thick. Obviously how much you want to add to it. So where the ply was you know, just back a bit from the edges, what I did is I put a load of it on the back, probably about sort of 10 centimeters, just spread it on with a paintbrush. It's real stodgy, pushed it onto the other ply that's behind it, screwed it in there, pulled it out, and as it all squeezed out the side, I just troweled it round and filled it that way. Then when it was dry, and it's weird, when it's sort of half dry, it goes like sort of rubbery, like a silicone, but when it's proper hard, it is real hard. So the next day I ground it down with the grinder, pulled it back, and I filled it with like a bit of bridging compound, because I knew it would go off quick, and it was only probably like 2 or 3 mil just to bring it out. And then I cut the fiberglass back, took it back, the gel coat back, probably about 2-3 mil, and I added three and a bit coats of layers of matting and resin, and that's where we are at the moment now. And hopefully when that's gone off, I can flat it down and maybe a bit of like body filler in there and get it real flat. But change of plan, what I'm going to do now, I was going to put a bracket on the back, but I think what I'll do now is I'll cut the transom down. So the transom for a long shaft is going to come sort of like down there and across there and then back up. So what I'll do is I'll get an aluminium plate made, and I'll just get it bent round over the top, set on the top of the transom, and it'll cover this anyway, but I'll get it as neat as I can, so you know, it just looks better, and I know it's underneath there and it's done half sensible. And on the inside, that's when the next video will start. I'll cut the transom probably with a grinder or a reciprocating saw. I'll cut it down. I've measured what width I want to do. It 33 centimeters wide, and I found out it's got to be that wide in order for the steering. When you turn it on, the bar that sticks out the other side, it needs to be that wide. So I'm going to make it 33 inches wide, and I'm going to step it back in 20 inches. As I say, I'll come back then when I cut that out, and I'll show you the inside, because while I mixed that silica up, which I think is called peanut butter in the States, I filled where the board went up. I filled all around the edges, and also on the corners where the ply goes to the edge, I rounded it off, because obviously when I put the matting on there, it adheres better to a curved surface rather than sharp corners, and it's easy to get the air out. So hey ho, I'll get back to you when I'm cutting the transom out.